All right. Today we're talking to Megan.Niles out of Colorado. She's going to tell us all about her business today and see if we can help some agents out there that are maybe trying to get off the ground with their business, maybe struggling a little bit, and maybe get some takeaways from Megan and everything she's done in her business. But before we get into the work stuff, I'd love to hear about and tell everybody about who Megan is, like just outside of work. Who's Megan.Niles?
Okay. So hello. Yep. I am Megan.Niles. I live in Colorado Springs. So I service the Colorado Springs area and also up in the Denver metro area as well. But I have two boys, two sons, and I'm also pregnant with a little girl.
Ooh, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. We have been here for about 4 years in Colorado Springs. I have 3 dogs, huge animal lovers. So they're here looking at me right now as I'm talking to the phone. And yeah, just a few things we like to do outside of real estate is hiking and being outside. And I love to fly fish.
Cool.
So yeah, just a few things about me.
Very nice. Very nice. So what got you started in real estate?
When we moved here 4 years ago, we had an agent who was kind of referred to us and to help us. We were moving here from California, and she was very nice and everything. But I felt like for us moving out of state to a new place that we didn't know anything about, she wasn't super helpful. And, and I don't know if she was just busy or what, with other stuff. And, but I felt like we did a lot of the work. And which I know is normal this day and age. Buyers are constantly looking online. They find houses too. But yeah, I don't know. So when we moved here, I have a lot of family in real estate, and in Denver, even their agents in Denver. My aunt had kind of mentioned to me that she thought I would, do well in real estate. And it's always been something I've liked, like, on HGTV and things like that, but never really thought that I would get into. And I'm somebody that I've bounced all over the place with, different jobs and careers and what I want to do with my life. So I was like, you know what, why not? Like, let's see if I can, how it goes. So I got my license, took my, the course, the test. And my first year was rough, with not really, getting any business and figuring out where I wanted to be. So I started with, a certain brokerage, and I didn't really feel like I fit there, but didn't know where else to go. And so that's how I got into it. I had people telling me that they thought I would be good at it. And so I gave it a try because I knew I liked houses and that type of thing, and did it. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's a common theme. There's a lot of people that get into real estate because of those few bullet points that you just went over, and either find themselves going down a path of success or sometimes struggling. So, but what would you say is kind of like your driving factor? Like, what is this all for? What are you going after?
For me, it's just being able to contribute to, my life with my family, and kind of, we were very comfortable with just my husband working, and everything, and me kind of just doing things here and there. But I knew that we could really get ahead and really say, make that future for our children. Or, if I was doing something, one, that I love, but that at the same time contributed financially. And so kind of my driving force and factor is that freedom, that, financial freedom, and providing that helping to provide that for my family.
Yeah. And so what would be like a long-term plan for you? Like, let's just, that typical question, it's 5 years from today,
right.
Where's your business?
I've been asked that, and it's a hard one for me because I'm so like, in the moment type of person. And so to think that far ahead, and I know people plan and their goal is to have a team and, and all that. And I'm not saying that's off the table for me. It's hard for me to imagine. And so that actually is something that I work on with, mentor coaches and stuff to kind of wrap my head around having that. But when I see where I've gone from in just a year, to when I started, I know that it's possible for me to grow into a point where I need a team or want a team. So I would say in 5 years, like, it wouldn't be off the table to have, a small team.
Yeah. And based on kind of what you said was your driving factor with that financial freedom and all that, what does life look like 5 years from now?
Well, that I think too, right now, because I'm building this business and just me, other than using a TC and things like that, I'm busy. And so, like, we were just gone for 2 weeks and it was like, I was on the phone a lot of the time. And, I had agents here on standby if I needed them to help show homes and stuff.
Sure.
But I think in the long run, I want to have not only that financial freedom, but that time as well. So that would be a big part.
Yeah. So how would you say that your clients experience you? Like, what is that thing that everybody is kind of drawn towards Megan for?
I think I come off just like a normal, regular person who cares. Like, and I think they can tell that I'm not, well, yes, this is my business and I do it to make money. I also just look at them as people in a relationship, not just a transaction.
Yeah.
And I think they can tell that. And we build relationships and friendships that, continue after the transaction.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that your business was a little bit, you were struggling maybe a little bit in the past or in your first year. So what was the shift? What happened for you that kind of put your business on a different trajectory?
So I think, like I said, I was at a different brokerage my first year than I am now. Now I'm at EXP, as you know, and I love it. And I don't think it was like a magic pill that, made me all of a sudden start having business and producing. I think it definitely was an energy booster when I switched brokerages and just having more support. So, John Pugh, he's kind of my mentor coach that when I had been at my previous brokerage, I didn't feel that support, even though, we had a productivity coach and all of this, I just didn't feel the motivation and the support of a coach or a mentor. I just didn't feel that. And so as soon as I felt that, like, I don't want to say unconditional, because obviously there are conditions, like they want you to do well. And if you're not, they'll call you, John calls me out on it, but,
as a good coach should.
Yeah, exactly. They see the potential in you, and so when I switched, I think things that I already had in motion as far as social media, which is just a large part of my business, just kind of kept rolling. And I took that momentum and that energy that I had when I switched, and kind of ran with it. And things just started, happening.
Yeah.
I started being more intentional with my actions than I was that first year, as far as posting on social media and networking and talking more to the people that I needed to talk to. So, yeah.
And so let's just say you had the opportunity to go back to the very beginning and start all over. What would you have done differently?
I think I would have taken my time looking into different brokerages, because I think it's not one size fits all. I think you really need to find where you fit, what fits your lifestyle. I'm not young, but I'm a millennial. I'm an elder millennial. I like to be on the go in a coffee shop. I don't want to be tied to an office or feel obligated. So EXP for me was perfect for that. I felt a little bit more freedom. But when I first got my license, I didn't really understand that I should have been interviewing brokerages.
Yeah.
They're not interviewing me.
Right.
They made it seem like they were.
Mhm.
And I just had so many recommendations for this brokerage, and it's a great brokerage, but it just wasn't a good fit for me. So I think the biggest thing for me when I got my license would have been to just do my homework more
Yeah.
into that.
Okay. And so you mentioned social media, you mentioned talking to people, which is obviously something we need to do in sales in general, but also real estate. Talking to people is going to get you where you want to be. But
Yeah.
where's your business coming from? Is it mainly those two sources, just being out and talking with people, doing some things on social, or are you doing some other things to attract business?
So I still, I think I've gotten to a point now where, after just knowing people in my community and staying top of mind, they think of me when they hear somebody needs to sell their house or buy their house. And so I'm getting that kind of word of mouth referrals.
Yeah.
But another huge thing that happened when I switched brokerages was just opening my eyes to agent to agent referrals from like out of state
Mhm.
agents. And that's been a huge part of my business. So building those relationships with agents in different states, and a lot of trying to think, probably at least half of my business has come from,
Really?
out of state referrals from other agents. Yeah. So I think if you're not taking advantage of that and building those, thinking you don't need to know agents in other states,
Right.
you so do. I mean, it's a huge part, because especially when you live somewhere like Colorado, where a lot of people are coming,
Mm-hmm.
um, you want to be the person that they send them to. So that was huge for me. Door knocking and things like that were not
Okay.
particularly for me.
Okay.
It's not to say I didn't do it. I have done it. It's not to say I won't do it again if I have a reason to do it. It's
Mhm.
just not a regular activity of mine, or like cold calling. I think I do just more strategic, intentional, consistent social media posts. And I get people from out of state messaging me because they find me somehow on Instagram or Facebook, the two main ones that I use. And I've gotten just random messages from people because they Google or they search a hashtag and they see, come across my stuff. But I also don't just post real estate stuff. And I think that's helped me too, is I infuse my personal life with my
Mhm.
real estate stuff, and people feel like they know me and I'm not just some business page.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, are you spending any marketing dollars at all in any places to attract business? Or is it really like once you get a listing, you spend some money there? Is there anything that you're doing marketing wise to bring in business?
No, I do all of my stuff. This past year, at least, has been just organic social media, and then neighborhood and for places where I want to farm.
Mhm.
So that has cost money, but typically I would say my marketing expenses has been pretty low, and I've been pretty successful without having.
Yeah. So what would you say would be your absolute favorite lead source? Like if this had to go away in your business, you would cry. Like you need this lead source. What is it?
um Honestly, social media. It really is. I'm a social person, and there's some people that just go on social media and they read. They just look at posts and, or Twitter or Instagram, and but I like to interact on it. So
Mhm.
I like to, you know, ask questions and see what people's answers are. I like to actually be social on social media. And I found that if that went away and I had to kind of go back to I don't want to say the old ways of doing things, but that agents, my aunt and uncle are older, and they've, they used to do everything, the traditional way of finding business, cold calling and stuff like that. And I just think, maybe if I had to, I could, but the fact that we do have access to this technology and social media is just a huge plus for me, and I would hate it if it went away.
Yeah. So tell us, we probably should have talked about this in the beginning, but tell us what your numbers were and what your numbers are, just to give those agents out there an idea of what, Megan means by my business was struggling, and then what you're doing now.
So my first year license and with a different brokerage, I had sold 2 homes. Since changing brokerage, and so year to date, just 2021, I've sold 21 houses. I have 3 pending, and I have a pretty full pipeline for the rest of the year. And so that blows my mind, honestly, because I never imagined I could do that or be there. But my production has just gone through the roof, and I know that I can't just rely on that. Like, it's not going to always be the way it was this past summer, right? When the market was crazy. We've already started to see a slowdown here a little bit. But yeah, those are my numbers. So going from nothing and really no pipeline, even at the time when I had 2, my pipeline was pretty low, and I was always stressing about the next thing, and it just kind of exploded when I started to be more intentional with my actions.
So, are you working 80 hours a week in order to do 21 deals on your own, maybe with a TC and no team support, anything like that? I know you said you just went on vacation, you were on the phone a lot. That may not sound very attractive to other agents and say, I don't really want to do that. But how much time are you putting in to do 21 deals in about 8 months?
Not 80 hours a week, that's for sure. Probably not even, I don't want to sound like I don't do anything, because I do. I just do it, I guess, in an efficient way for me to be able to have the time. So, one, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 30 hours a week, 20, 30 hours a week. Okay. Just breaks down doable. To, following up with leads. Oh yeah, it's totally doable, because, and I also don't, and not everybody might be this way. I'm pretty flexible, and can kind of roll with punches when needed. So if I need to go to, the park with my kids or something and be on the phone, I will. It's not ideal, but, or I've taken them to showings and stuff, or, when I need to, but I just make it work. And make sure that something for me, and something that I need to get even better at, is time blocking and setting time for, the important things, the family stuff, but then also like specific activities, whether it's planning my content for the week or, following up with leads and clients and all that. But sometimes I'm a little bit too spontaneous, where I'm like, oh, I just look at my list of to-dos, but I'm trying, and I am getting better at just having that plan for each week.
Yeah. So talk directly to that agent that's just done 1 deal so far this year, or 2 deals. You were that agent last year. What can someone do different that can just do maybe half of what you've done? If you can get somebody to go from 1 to 2 deals to 10, what would that maybe 1 to 3 things be that you can tell them?
I'd say the first thing would be to figure out what works for you and what you enjoy doing. Because when I was at my previous brokerage, I was having people telling me, you need to do this, this, and this, but it's not one size fits all. And it's not, not everybody can do door knocking or wants to do door knocking. So I'd say find what you like and what works for you. And so what worked for me was networking with my neighborhood and doing more things like that. And also more social media marketing and being, again, I keep saying this word, but intentional about it. So, you know, it might seem like it's very like I wing it and stuff, but I usually have a plan of I want to do this many real estate posts and this many personal posts. So I think I would just, that's the number one thing. Find out what works for you and what you enjoy. I know people that love door knocking and love cold calling.
Yeah.
And so if they do, go for it. But also don't isolate yourself is a big thing. I think you really need people around you that are going to hype you up, support you. And even though I did know some great people, I didn't feel that support. And so I just kind of would sink back into being by until I met, you know, John and got introduced to EXP and then introduced to more people like you and, you know, just awesome people that all they want to do is support each other. If you don't have that, it's really hard to succeed.
So at the end of this, I will always put up your contact information and all that stuff. You obviously have a good amount of business coming from other agents. What specific areas do you work? So the agents that are watching this might want to have a deal that they can send to you or anything like that. Where do you specifically work?
So typically, so I live in Colorado Springs and I cover all of things in the surroundings. 45 minutes up the road is Castle Rock and Southware, and I also cover that area as well.
Okay, great. Well, if you have any referrals to that area, I'm going to definitely throw up Megan's contact information here. Any closing thoughts, or are you have we gotten everything out of Megan today?
I just, if you are a new agent and you only have 1 to 2 deals done or anything, don't quit. You know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, there really is. And don't compare yourself to other agents.
Yeah.
I did that constantly. And, you know, to agents who have 10, 15 years experience, I was comparing myself to, and so you don't do that. You're you, and you will find your way. And if you want to talk to me about that, I'm happy to. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you doing this today. I think we got a lot of value out of it. I think you definitely helped some agents. So I appreciate it. And I hopefully we'll see you soon. So we froze.
All right. Sounds good, Mark. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
I know. We keep freezing. Okay. Bye.
Bye.